All right, everyone, we are coming to you live from Rough and Tumble. And let's put an emphasis on rough when it comes to the Seattle Storm game last night. Roberta, you were at that game. We're going to talk about it on this episode, live from Rough and Tumble of Tempestade Talk. Ooh, we got a lot to talk about.
You have three people who are selfless like that, three people who are dangerously disciplined like that, and you have a coach that also embodies all of those characteristics. You can expect good basketball.
I love interacting with the fans. I'm excited for them to cheer for us because it's hell when you come here. I even welcome people that could be skeptical because it's new.
There's going to be a standard of excellence and discipline in everything that we do.
The Pacific Northwest, this area, how passionate they are. It's culture everywhere, but it's great culture here. That's what I want to be a part of, to compete for a championship. That's everybody's goal. And I think it's just how we go about things and habits that we create. I want to be around winners that'll help us get closer to that.
And that's what the fans can expect. And we're going to have some fun.
All right, welcome to another episode of Tempestade Talk, part of Black Rosie Media. Erica L. Ayala here alongside Roberta Rodrigues. And as you can see, we are live here at Rough and Tumble. Shout out to Jen Barnes and her whole crew. There was actually an event here for the new women's hockey team coming to Seattle, PWHL Seattle. So I was here for that, and we thought we would double dip. But we have to talk about last night's game.
We do. And there was a little bit of a crossover, right? Because how do you PWHL?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there were some players there. So that was exciting. Everything else was not.
Yeah.
It was a rough game. It started bad and it ended even worse. Moni is asking if we do have to talk about last night. Listen, the good and the bad.
The good and the bad.
That's what we do here.
Yeah, we have to. And of course, we also can talk on the good side of just kind of more Seattle Storm news. We will recap a little bit of WNBA All-Star Weekend. I was able to be there, got to speak to NECA a few times, and Skylar and Gabby as well. So we can definitely talk about that. Of course, we will talk about NECA in last night's game, and ultimately thinking about the second half of the season. Because now that we're on the other side of All-Star, this effectively is the second half. And so we'll talk about the first half, but more so in thinking ahead. So if y'all have any specific questions, but Moni, we are going to talk about it. We have to talk about it. So let's just get this out of the way. I mean, I feel like this lead tracker really says a lot here. There were some things that the Seattle Storm was able to do in the first half, and then things fell, including in the last few seconds of the game.
Yeah.
It was a little bit. I know.
From JJ.
Oh my goodness! It was not. It was not good Storm basketball.
It was. I don't know if you caught up with all of the All-Star game memes, but there's one when Paige Beckers, when the ESPN folks asked Paige Beckers what Gino Auriemma would say about the game, and she said that he would say it's a terrible, a disturbing demonstration of basketball. And unfortunately, and I hate to say that, but it was a bad game. Starting with the first quarter, yes, the Storm was able to open a 10-0 lead, but they started shooting 2 for 18 or something like that. It was really bad shooting night. Shots were not falling. They were not finding the proper looks. It started ominous. And I think that because they started winning, they didn't realize how aggressively Dallas would come for the rest of the game, and that's why it's important to talk about yesterday, Moni. That tells a lot about the Seattle Storm story. during this season.
Yeah, I just don't know how you look at what Dallas has been doing and don't know that they have a comeback in them. And, everybody gets got every once in a while. I think it's, we're also going to talk about they were without Skylar Diggins, out for personal reasons, so did not suit up, but was at the game. And we did hear Noel Quinn talk a little bit about that. And I don't think you can deny that being without Skylar clearly impacted the game. And I think that what we saw last night was more than just missing a point guard.
Yeah, it was more than missing a player. It was about not knowing the point. Because
brutal
it
at
is,
this point in the season.
Yeah, it's a little late to try to figure out how to, that's not to undermine who Skylar Diggins is for the team.
Yeah.
But we're talking about a team, 11 players who are supposed to know what to do when one of them is not out there. Especially, and again, not to undermine the Dallas Wings and what they have already done this season. We're talking about the second to last team in the standings, and the Storm is a top 4 team right now. What happened yesterday? I think there are lots of things involved. I think there are circumstances that have to do with more than the team, but there's also a lot to do. It also has a lot to do with the team.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Dallas, but as we talked about last season, Skylar made it very clear if you don't show up, you're gonna lose. I'm not going to say verbatim what she said, but I mean, this is still the case in the WNBA. I mean, I think someone in our Slack channel, right, talked about you have a team that was able to beat New York, but has fallen to now Connecticut and Dallas.
And Washington, right? I think they lost to Washington also.
I don't remember explicitly. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But Moni's saying anybody can beat anybody on any night, and that's real. That's very real.
It is real, but there is a reason why certain teams are deemed contenders. There is a certain thing as understanding the seniority and the experience of players. So we're talking about the Seattle Storm, and you have Skylar Diggins and Eko Gumake as the main players. When you look at the main players in with the Dallas Wings, you don't have that much experience. I mean, you do have Arike. But the main player right now, I would say, would be Paige Beckers. And, you have Dijonay coming back. So it was concerning, I would say. And I believe there are so many things that happened there. I feel like, clearly Skylar's absence was not something that anyone thought was going to happen. It seems like they caught them off guard. It really got me thinking, I hope everything is okay with her family, because I don't think Skylar would sit out a game
it was
just for that
reasons, right?
Yeah, it wasn't rest.
Yeah,
because if it was rest, they would have put rest. And I'm not even curious about speculating. It's just, it seems like for her to sit out a game for personal reasons, that it has to be serious. So I wonder what was happening. I wonder if there was some sort of you have Noel Quinn said in the presser that the All-Star players did not get to practice the day before with the team. You had three All-Stars and one skills participant. So we know how busy Indianapolis was for the players. We know how they have all been talking about the schedule. Every single one has been talking about it. And we even saw what happened with NECA during the game. I think that was a clear a lot of frustration coming out of her, to the point where Noel Quinn said it was an appropriate display.
Yeah, I will be honest, and if it was only the hit or the interaction that happened immediately before she pulled Louisa down, it seemed a little bit perhaps beyond the scope, beyond the pale to me. However, I was also kind of in and out of a few different games that night and packing to get ready to come to Seattle. So I'm not going to place any judgment necessarily on Nneka because I think her reputation speaks for itself. And everyone, I mean, she is human. I know it's hard to believe sometimes. So, you know, what was it, the frustration of how the team was playing? Was it the frustration in how the game was being officiated, compounded by how Seattle has felt that they have been officiated all season? Is it frustration or fatigue from as the president of the Players Association having a huge weekend with, I can only imagine what was a roller coaster of emotions, a glass case of emotions. You know, I can only imagine it was very emotional in multiple ways, especially for someone that holds the office that Nneka does. And maybe it's all of those things. Maybe it's none of those things. You know, I just...
the best for me.
Wait, I don't... You're going to have to read it. I can't see it. What is it?
There's people made some memes with Nneka, when the players saying that like she was just telling Luisa to the next time go to the CBA meeting.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think so. I was thinking about everything that has been going on with the Storm, with the league.
Yeah.
I feel like Nneka has been, and again, that's all what we think, right?
Yeah.
So Nneka has been carrying the weight for the Storm, for the WNBA in a season that there's a historical CBA being negotiated, and there's a lot of contention in terms of narratives between the league and the players.
Yes.
I can only imagine what is happening and how much he's having to deal with. And again, we're saying Nneka is human, and sometimes it's hard to believe. And I asked Noe because we don't see that. I think I've never seen Nneka that way. And Noe said, Nneka is the most presidential person I've ever met. And that's the image that we have from her, right? So I think that when she tackled Luisa, she did the whole like WWE thing at her, but when she got out, she was mad at the ref.
Yeah.
And she yelled at the ref.
Yeah.
And this has been a constant this season.
It has
People complaining about the refs, and Noelle Quinn did say that there are things that could have been handled earlier. It kind of echoes what Stephanie White in the Indiana Fever said when Sophie, completely different situation, but when Sophie Cunningham, like who Stephanie White said, this could have been avoided if the refereeing had been a little more consistent.
Right.
So
yeah, you know, and I think also if you look at the I want to come back to that point because it was brought up in Indianapolis at All-Star, but also if you look at the video, the official closest to when Nneka falls just before the play is like literally telling her get up, as almost as if like not a big deal, keep playing. And again, if you take all of the things that we were saying specific to the Seattle Storm and how they feel they've been officiated, compounded by that Nneka has been saying this for years, that gesture in and of itself, there is a world in which that is very disrespectful.
Very, very disrespectful,
Like, get up, you're okay. Like, okay.
Don't tell me how I feel.
Right, yeah. So, I don't know. He was in danger. That man is in danger. You know, but even taking into account all of that, it wasn't a great game.
And it wasn't a good look at all because, like we were saying, we had Skylar Diggins missing.
Yeah.
It was one player who was missing. There were other 10 players that could have picked up, you know, and done something,
and
but they didn't. You have Skylar Diggins, Ezzy, sorry, you have Neka, Ezzy, and I think Gabby in double digits.
Yes.
And then no one else had more than 4 points.
So Gabby Williams, 14.
Yeah.
NECA, Madam President, with 22, led the Seattle Storm.
Yeah.
Basically, almost doubled up, almost. But Ezzy Magbagor with 12. But then Wheeler, 4 points. Lexi Brown, 2 points. Tiffany Mitchell, 2 points. Malunga, no points in 12 minutes. Zaya Cook did have 7. But,
Yeah.
I mean, but this goes to something that we talked about even before this season started. Where were they going to get their offense from?
Exactly. And we have been talking about how, okay, do we have to worry that they don't have a whole all-star starting 5, that they don't have a shooting guard? They should have worried about that. I know that they have to be positive. I know that Noelle Quinn wants to, be nice about things. But the truth is that, yes, if you have to want to win, but you need a really good team to win if you want to keep the top 4. And we're talking, I'm going to say the thing that frustrates me the most is not seeing Alicia Clark show up with what she can show up with.
I feel like that's been all season, though.
Yeah, she hasn't scored in a really long time. And what did we hear in the on media day that she said Noelle Quinn wanted from her? Noelle Quinn said that she wanted more aggression and she wanted Alicia Clark to create her own shots.
Yeah.
We are not seeing that. Alicia Clark was brought to Seattle to be a consistent 4th scorer.
Yeah.
Because you already have Skylar, NECA, and Gabby. And then you add Ezzy and Alicia Clark.
Yeah.
We're supposed to have a very high scoring starting 5. They're shooting 70. They are averaging 78.1 per game. They should be averaging more with the team that they have. And if they said that they assembled this team to win a championship now, all due respect, with the bench that you have, you're not going to win a championship now.
Especially not to make it all about the New York Liberty.
I was going to talk about them. Yep. Look at the last 2 champions, the bench that they had, the depth that they had.
I would argue that Vegas never really had that much depth. I mean, in fairness, they got their act together to beat the Liberty on their home court. That was hurtful. And yes, AC stepped up.
Yeah.
Sydney Colson stepped up. But that was an outlier. They didn't always play that way.
I'm talking about the years that they won the lead, the 2 back-to-back championships. I think that their bench did show up.
I think their bench was not like what you're seeing with the New York potential.
I feel like the Liberty is just greedy. Like, what are y'all doing?
That's
just
crazy.
Getting everyone.
That's crazy.
And everything. You have you have the best. You have Emma Messerman.
How did
you
the
have
league let
Marie
that happen?
Johannes, and you have Leo, the best from their countries, the best.
Emma's
Deutschland
literally the MVP of Eurobasket.
Yeah.
Like, how did the league let that happen? I mean, for the purposes of this podcast, I'm just going to leave it there. If you want to know how
the Liberty,
if you, you know what, this is my. I can't take her off the screen because we're sharing a camera today. I'm a mic muted. Mic muted. Mic muted. Her mic is muted.
Bring that investigation vibe.
They're too busy still investigating Vegas, which we've never heard anything about.
Is anything ever going to come out of that?
Well, actually, if we want to talk about investigations.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on. Well, I mean, Seattle allegedly was being investigated. Whatever happened there?
It seems like they looking into it. There wasn't an investigation. They were looking into it and talking to people, interviewing people.
So you're looking into things, talking to people, reviewing things, but you're not investigating. I'm sorry.
They didn't find anything. That's what that's the thing.
English is weird that way, I guess.
It is.
What? Not English. Americans are weird. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, you have to have a better showing coming out of an All-Star break. That just can't happen. I mean, are losses like that possible at any point in the season? Yes. And I don't know. Am I being too harsh in being like, this was an inexcusable loss?
No, I don't think so, because I said the same thing yesterday on Fox 13.
Yeah.
The Storm has a slate of games right now that should help consolidate them in the top 4, if not the top 3 position. So they played Dallas yesterday, number 11.
Right.
They had, number 12 in the standings,
Yeah.
so second to last. They play Chicago tomorrow, third to last. And then they play Washington, which is 8th, and they keep going back and forth. So Washington is not as beatable as Dallas and Chicago should be.
Like Moni
and
said
then they
earlier.
play Connecticut, which is the dead last, and they lost to them. They play Los Angeles, which is number 10, and then they play Indiana, number 7. So I would say that of these 7 games, the only 2 that are a question for me are Indiana and Washington. All of the other ones, they should have a guaranteed win.
You think Chicago is guaranteed?
They have to win. You beat Chicago.
I mean, Minnesota didn't beat Chicago.
Yeah, do you
that
remember
one time.
the Stud Buds
Yes,
video?
I do. I do. That's what I'm saying. Because that got thrown in their face.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We're talking about probability, right? We're talking about statistics and numbers.
Yeah.
The Storm should beat Chicago. The Chicago is not.
I mean, they should have beat Dallas, though.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, like, this first slate of games, they should have gone 4-1 at least up until the Los Angeles game. So they should have beat Dallas. They should beat Chicago, Connecticut, Los Angeles. And I'm going to give them a slack if they lose to Washington. Because we're talking about a top 4 team against the top lowest team, the top 4 lower teams. It is concerning. And like I said, I think there's a difference between what we're seeing from the Storm is lacking this year and the Storm's lacking last year. Last year, there was a lot of conversation about lack of effort, about lack of will. I feel like this year, there is a lack of even, like,
Talk about it.
guidance. They don't really know they seem lost on the court. You see the Storm trying to pass the ball. You see them trying to defend. And it seems like they don't know what to do. It's almost as if they are waiting for someone to do something, and in that waiting, they end up not doing it.
Passive play.
Yep.
I mean, the S, the O, the F, the T. Y'all got mad. Y'all got mad when we started mentioning it before, but
No, they are so soft.
the passive play, like you have to find a way in games like this to, as John Cole Jones might say, thug out a win. Because there are going to be games where you're tired.
Yeah.
There are going to be games where your starting point guard is out for personal reasons, and we've seen them thug out some games.
Yeah, and that's the games that we saw the Storm win, the big ones against Minnesota, against New York. We saw an aggressive Seattle Storm. That was a very unlike Seattle Storm. That was going very hard at the basket. That was going very hard on defense. We saw the best of Neka, Skylar, and Gabby.
Yeah.
They were being very aggressive, and we saw a very aggressive Neka, I think 2 or 3 games ago.
Yes.
And she has started to score again. Actually, I was looking at her average. She's averaging 8.1 points per game and 6.4 rebounds. I thought it was less, but because she's so silent. Imagine what it would be if she went like for it, you know.
Yeah.
So there is that sort of passive. I would say, I would even add.
Neka went for it, okay, at Louisa.
I would add to what Skylar said. You not only have to want to win, you have to want to beat the F out of your adversary. Like, you have to,
whatever it
you have
takes.
to be mean,
ruthless.
ruthless, and that's why New York is
I mean, well, New York can be ruthless. I mean, we saw Sabrina go to her next level because that was a game. Again, they had to grind out that win the other night against Indiana without a Caitlin Clark, and they just play different. If you want to say better, I won't argue with you, but they play different. I mean, they play different without her, and it's. I mean. No one is going to say, I'm just going to put this out there. No one should rightfully say that not having Caitlin Clark on the Indiana Fever is a long-term good thing.
No.
However, I do think that Stephanie White needs to figure out what it is about the team that plays different and I think a little more edgy as a team.
Yeah.
As a team, I think they play edgy. And that's what was missing from Seattle.
Yeah.
My estimation is that Indiana's like, our star is down. Now we could cook.
Yeah.
You know, because I think that whether it is perceived or real, there's a lot of attention, right? Gravity pulls towards Caitlin Clark. That's just a fact. And how psychologically the team deals with that, you know, I think Stephanie White's going to have to figure out. That being said, where is the gravitational pull for real with Seattle? And I've had this conversation on Gotta Get Up with Brian because it's like you have Stewie, you have Jonquel Jones, you have Sabrina who gets better every year. Leo is an option, but Nigel Laney when she's, you know, who is the go-to? And at times it changes.
It changes, but I want to be honest with you and say that the only player that has actually caused other teams to really scramble, shift defense and offense around, Dominic Malonga. Dominic Malonga has been the big differentiator with the Seattle Storm, and they are not playing her. I know.
Please continue. No,
I know. They're
please
not
continue.
playing her because...
Mark this July 23rd, 2025. We're going to have to go back into the archives because I think that's something else that one of the co-hosts of Tempestade Talk has been talking about.
See, I never disagreed with you. I always said that it has to be like a progression. The thing is that there's no progression. They put her a few more minutes and then they take her. I'll be honest, yes, teams are very, they gravitate towards Skylar, they gravitate towards NECA, Gabby, but Dominic Malonga brings something different to the WNBA. Not only to the Storm, to the WNBA, and teams struggle against her. All of the defense shifts. The attack shifts.
And you've talked about that specifically. I do agree with what Moni is saying here. She didn't look great. Well, Moni.
Who did?
No, I'm right. Nobody looked great. Nobody looked great, babes. Nobody looked great.
No,
so there's that. Like, you're right. It just wasn't there. And that's going to happen.
Wasn't there.
That's going to happen. I think the concern for me is that the way that they played, this might have been the worst that we've seen it look, but it's not that it's unfamiliar.
It's not unfamiliar, and I do think it has to do with their demeanor, with how they show up to games. They are way too soft. And
they were without their sandpaper.
They were without their sandpaper. I talking about that. I heard someone say, and then a friend talked to me today, that Luisa was lucky that Skylar was not playing yesterday.
Oh my! Wow. Yeah, that could have been diabolical.
According to my friend, Skylar Diggins is the president of Madam President's fan club.
I believe it.
If someone touches NECA, if someone dares to say or do anything to NECA, you can bet that Skylar's going to be there to teach them a lesson.
Well, we see it on the other side. It's actually something I talked to NECA about, like, number one fan for real, always holding her down. There are times in the Zoom calls where she's like, right about that, right about that, Erica, right about that. She's so holding it down. Speaking of, let's switch gears here because we're going to talk a little bit more about this team and our predictions for the second half. But you want to talk about another thing that Skylar Diggins is probably going to rattle off the next time she has a microphone in Seattle post game. Nneka Ogwumike climbing the all-time scoring list for All-Star games. And she passed in Indianapolis. She passed Tamika Catchings.
That's a
and
very big.
only person ahead of her right now, the one and only Maya Moore. That, you know what they say, the company you keep. Ooh.
And I feel so last season, I think Nneka got to the Storm last season.
Yes.
She said that she wanted people to remember that Nneka Ogwumike is a really good basketball player. Because she with time, she became known as a WNBA president.
Yes, that's
as
true.
the very nice player, as the presidential person, the politician. She wanted people to remember the very good basketball player.
Yeah, that's a really excellent point.
And we are.
We're seeing it in Seattle.
We're seeing, Los Angeles, like, was it 2012, 2016 that Los Angeles won? We are seeing that Nneka Ogwumike, the Nneka Ogwumike that played with Candace Parker.
Yes.
And we're seeing her play with a player who has kind of, Skylar kind of has the same way of playing in terms of personality as Candace Parker.
Yeah, and that's something that Nneka and I talked about. She mentioned that the difference in playing with Skylar, because I asked her about that, is that with Candace, not only was that, she was Candace's rookie, right? But also they played the same position.
Yes.
And so learning from Candace, very different than learning from what she's saying, learning from Sky. She's known Skylar, is playing with her now in a very direct way in Seattle. And she talked about how because they play different positions, that even now, all these years in, that she learns how to see the game differently because she's playing alongside Sky. And how she can communicate the game is different because she's now hearing it from the purview of a point guard. And I thought that was so fascinating that Nneka can even identify how this partnership and this teammate relationship that she has, it enhances her game because I think we're seeing it. And her IQ has always been there, but it's even sharper. And that's why I believe in you have a true one. And I do also think you should have a true 5, but we can talk about that some other time. But you need a true 1. You need a true lead guard, point guard, whatever you want to call it. You need someone who can see every element of the game and, yes, quite literally bark orders sometime. So now you have a player like Nneka who is absorbing that from one of, I know some of y'all don't want to believe it, is one of the best true point guards that we have ever seen in the WNBA. And this is listen, if I could get closer, if I could get any closer to this camera, I promise you I would, but it's a little far away from us today. I'm going to need y'all to understand this. I'm going to put this out there. I don't know if it's a hard take. I believe it to be a true take. This is definitely, I'm leaning into my opinion here. I don't think that the WNBA historically has been good at the one position.
No, because they won. The WNBA has always been known as being an offense and a scoring season. And coming from an international background, working with, playing for basketball teams in Brazil, working with the national team, the WNBA has always been known as the no defense, all shooting league.
Gross.
That has always been.
And
when they go overseas, when the U.S. plays other teams, what they say is that the other countries have really good defense. That's what Team USA was talking about Brazil during the America. They are very strong.
Yeah.
They're very physical.
100%.
So and when you think about a point guard is not going to be the scorer. It's not going to be the lead scorer of the team.
And if they are, then you might need to have a conversation about roster construction.
Yeah.
Just putting it out.
Yeah.
What am
So
I smelling? Something smells
amazing.
delicious. Right? You smell it too.
Yeah.
Right? What is that?
It seems sweet.
A skillet cookie? Oh, we're recording a podcast on the Seattle Storm. But we just, okay, everyone on the balcony is smelling this thing. Like, it was so, if we could give you the smells on the camera. It
smells like
oh
caramel.
It smells so good.
Ooh,
did you? Oh, we
last
have a
night.
first
What did you
timer.
think?
Yeah.
Someone just told us that they went to their first
vibes
Storm
are good.
game.
The vibes are good.
Yesterday.
Unfortunately, we have to talk about last night's loss, which was not great. I love it. Female empowerment. We're here for it. Women supporting women.
Yes.
You gotta make sure you get one of those women supporting women stickers.
It was, and it was also a good. It was a good one to go as Paige Beckers was there, and she's a big name right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure that you all saw
Love
that.
it.
But yeah, that's very good to
I
hear.
love it. All right. Well, enjoy. Thanks for chatting.
Yeah, no, this
But
smells really
that
good.
smells so good. We might have to order one of those. I'm glad it wasn't just us, but it hit me like bam, and I just had to address it. Okay.
Yeah. It's dessert.
Yeah, I'm also looking at like my half-eaten burger over there.
Anyways, what were we even talking about?
I don't even know. Who even cares? No, I love
point
that
guards in the
what
league.
Moni is talking about here, you know, an all-around point guard, offense, assists, defense. And she's like, that's Sky. And I think that's correct. But like true ones. And this is why I get bullish about the one position, because I think you're right. International competition and people kind of clowning WNBA talent. You know what? I want to reframe that, because WNBA talent historically has also played overseas. The WNBA game, the WNBA style, what is expected of you when you play in this league, and how you effectively win. But maybe the tides are changing, because now it was happened. Actually, we have to go back to like Amber Cox, even a Pokey Chapman, who were starting to tap into international talent, players that were born outside of the United States, because we did have that in the early years of the W, and then it faded for a little bit, and then it started slowly trickling in. Chicago, you know, I think Dallas. Well, they tried. Were they any good?
I think that the problem is that they're trying to turn every point guard into a shooting guard the same way that they're trying to turn every center into a power forward.
Yeah, a stretch.
So it is good. You do get versatility, but you do get some gaps.
Yeah, 100%.
And I want to go back to, you know,
hey, Tulip.
Hi, Tulip. I want to, you know, there is a very underrated true point guard in the Seattle Storm, Erica Wheeler, who started her career overseas in Brazil. And she was so successful there. She did so well that Pokey Chapman brought her to the WNBA with the Indiana Fever, and she had amazing seasons in Indiana, in Atlanta, went back to Indiana, and now she's here in Seattle, and you see her cooking. So there is...
Cooking like that cookie skillet, that skillet cookie, that thing smells so good.
It's really good.
Anyway.
So you do see that overseas and in other countries, there is a certain, like, we know that the WNBA is like the best basketball in the world. I mean, someone who is not from here, I refuse to call anything from the U.S. the best in the world, except for Asia Wilson. Asia Wilson is the best in the world.
Oh, no Stewie, no Emma?
Stewie kind of like tugs on my heart.
I know. I was like, you usually go with Stewie as the best international. Listen.
Oh, no. I'm talking about the whole thing.
The whole package.
The whole thing. I think that Stewie is the most. You see, now I'm.
Honestly, and it's not just because I picked her for MVP this year. At the current moment, Nafisa Collier is outperforming
everyone.
Stewie and
100%.
Asia. I will say.
I would say it's a one-woman race at this point.
Well,
I know some people are talking about JJ and AT.
If JJ hadn't gotten hurt, 100%. I think the injury set her back. AT, I know people are making, and as they always should. That being said, it's Nafisa for me. However, I'm going to say this, and folks ain't going to like it. If we're talking about best in the world, I think that Asia Wilson's mid-range game is not as significantly weaker as it was comparative to the field, but I think that her mid-range game, comparative to other people in the field, like Fee in the mid-range, come on.
Oh, no. Fee
Automatic.
Like,
she's hopping on that fade.
Yeah,
Fee, you know what I'm saying? Stewie has a pretty good mid-range. The 3-point shot, though, we have seen decline in the past 2 seasons. So
yeah, but that's the thing with Asia, and I think that Tulip put it perfectly. That Asia is the better player. Fee's having the best season. I feel like it's hard for Asia to have a better season than what she's having because her team is not helping her. So I think she's doing way too much, not in the sense of like, oh, you're being too much. It's in like, shit, that girl is being overplayed.
Yeah.
So I think that Fee is, for me, is a one-woman race. That's not true. That's not true. I would say that AT and JJ would be in a race of like
second tier.
Yeah, I feel like Fee is in such like, you know, an advantage that AT and JJ are gonna have to like put the best numbers of their careers, and Fee's gonna have to slow down a little bit for it to get equal. So I think if I had a vote, I would vote Fee, and second place I would vote AT. So I think it's a one-woman race at this point.
That AT shit really fucked me up. I just went completely adult here. Like the fact that she had the most number 1 votes and still lost MVP.
Oh, that was so wrong. So wrong. That doesn't make sense for me.
Justice for AT.
That doesn't make sense. Like, and that again, it was Stewie last year. Asia?
Asia won.
Asia won last year. Yeah. I mean, if you have more votes, then like, I mean, let's go. If you have more votes, you should win. I mean, let's not talk about the U.S. electoral system.
Listen, I was a political science major, so if we're gonna go there, we're gonna need a whole new podcast because I have thoughts.
Drink.
This is just ginger beer for now. It's very good, very
the night
refreshing,
is young.
very light, refreshing. I believe it's from Portland here at Rough and Tumble.
Is it
not
Rachel's?
Sponsored, Jen, but we're totally open to it.
Yes.
But thank you so much for opening your space to us. We're engaging with people on the patio. We're having a great time. Smelling that the skillet cookie was delicious. Some folks disagreeing with me. Tulip saying Asia is better in the mid-range.
Yeah, I get it. I just feel like it's a tough year for Asia because of how tough the aces are.
Yeah,
Tough in the bad way.
She's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, still,
Asia is Asia.
Asia is Asia, and I mean, Fee is just looking automatic this year. It's
I feel like ever since she lost the MVP race last year, she has been like, "You're gonna vote me for MVP. Like, I'll give you no option, but you vote me for MVP."
Excuse me. Tulip said butter, not better. Like she's smooth butter.
Smooth like butter, like a cream.
Oh, I don't know that one.
It's a BTS K-pop.
Oh,
song. Don't ask me how I know it. It is with. Anyways, so yes, I think that we're talking about smooth and soft. Let's talk about the Storm and how they need to be aggressive. Like they need, and I'm saying that like. I know that we have talked about the word aggressive, but I think they have to be aggressive.
I mean, at this point, because someone's going to come take your spot, which kind of happened last season.
Oh, my God. Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Matter of fact, it was a surging Aces squad who they're starting to maybe act like they want to get their life together again.
Yep. And I could see that happening. I could see the Storm dropping if they don't get their things together and if they don't play at the level that the league is requiring in terms of...
BTS cover 2. This show has it all. That's it.
Tudo. So yeah, I think that the Storm needs to. They need to be They need to be confident. I think they lack a lot. They lack a lot of confidence, and there's a lot of. When I say they look lost, they are afraid to shoot the ball.
Okay, let's go back to that because I think there's some of this quite literally that has to be on the players. They're the ones executing on the court. And for better or worse, we have come to the point where we have to openly have a conversation about Noel Quinn.
We do. We have to.
We have to. I mean, y'all know I've been like softly hinting at these things, saying that this is maybe a make or break season in my estimation for Noel Quinn. I know you've gone hard in the paint saying Coach of the Year candidate. I think there's potential, and I wouldn't put her top tier in the W. And with some of the struggles that we're seeing with a roster that is not perfect, I think you and I have both said that. However, like for me, I'm not getting over the fact that this is an organization that picked at number 2 and is not playing their number 2 player. So either you messed up the pick or you're messing up the rotations. Which one?
Yep. I think that Olivia Miles not declaring really broke them and what they were planning for the year. And
Gotta be nimble though.
And the thing is that like there's so many when we're talking
messed up the pick.
When we're talking about a soft team, when we're talking about a team that's not aggressive, it starts with the coach. Let's look at Cheryl Reeve. Cheryl Reeve is not soft, and she has won 4 WNBA championships, and she could very well win her 5th this year. She won that by tossing her jacket on the floor.
I missed the jacket toss.
That was Sandy Brondello may be not Cheryl Reeve level, but she is spicy.
Becky Hammond just doesn't get caught on camera.
Yeah, Becky Hammond gets pissed. I always know.
She has like that Pat Summitt thing where she just glares.
The thing is, like, I'm a big Becky Hammond fan. Have my tattoo here. You have never seen that?
I never seen that.
Number 25 for Becky Hammond.
There you go.
There's this thing. She starts the game with her hair down. The aces starts messing things up. The hair goes up. When the hair goes up, you know that players are going to be yelled at. You know that players are going to be yelled at. Let's look Bill and Beer.
Ill-fitting suit Bill and Beer. Like, I know that man is big and tall, but come on. Like none of that NBA money and you ain't got a tailor, bro.
We know that Noel Quinn is an amazing person.
Yes, 100%.
A++ human being. We know that. But if you want to win championships, you have to be a little mean. I think that you have to be a little mean. You have to.
Ooh, the chat just got spicy. Wait a minute. Okay. I've been saying.
You did say that.
I've been saying. I was like, coming into the NCAA tournament, Sonia Citron might be the player to watch. I've been on that Sonia Citron. Look what she's doing with Washington. And y'all messed around and gave Washington Kiki Iriafen, Georgia Amore, who's hurt, and Sonia's.
Yep.
Make it make sense. Jesus, take the wheel. I don't understand. Like, Washington is going to be a problem in the future.
They are already mean.
They're already a pest. A pest.
Yeah, they
a
are.
pest. So, should they have taken Sonia Citron? Well, that might have solved their scoring problem.
Yeah.
Because Sonia Citron, who was in the three-point contest, not just as a fluke, she has some of the best numbers in the league.
Yeah.
Not among rookies.
In the
league when it comes to shooting the three ball.
Yeah, and I know that we talked about how, like, you can't just pass on Dominic Malonga. I'm now kind of like starting to double guess, to like second guess my thought that you can't pass on Dominic Malonga, because if that's not what the team needs and you're just not gonna develop them, then why did you get her?
And that's what I'm saying. Was it the wrong pick? Is this a generational talent? I mean, Moni has been putting that in the chat. I still think so, yes.
Yeah.
And you need to play her.
You do. If you don't play her, then you're stagnating her. If you picked her as your second round pick, you're not just going to put her in the bench, like on the bench. She has to play, and not only that. For me, in the beginning, Noelle King was doing the right thing. Let's just like stagger, let's go little by little. But she has played, and she has proven that she is a differentiator on both sides of the court. Why isn't she playing now?
I mean,
why are you letting? Again, all due respect, why are you letting Lexi Brown play 20 minutes? Why are you letting Lexi Brown play 20 minutes in that game? You know, and Dominique Malonga only played 12 minutes.
If we had to talk about coaching, we also have to talk about the front office, because at some extent, it's like, well, what is the coaching staff to do when it doesn't seem like Lexi Brown is a good fit? Lee Yarou couldn't find minutes, and now is finding minutes with Dallas. You know, AC not as advertised this year.
Yeah, the AC situation, I think it's AC. I think that she was a good fit to start. I think that the concept of AC.
The concept of the plan of AC. Girl.
You have the fan thing over there.
I know, I didn't set it up today. I didn't set up
I think that the concept of AC makes sense. I think the concept of Dominique Malonga makes sense. I think the concept of Lexi Brown makes sense. Now,
let me hide my face. Sure,
I would say that.
Sure.
Let's talk about Alicia Clark, who has won championships with the Storm and with the Aces. Proven winner, right?
Yes.
Lexi Brown is not what the Storm needed to get. It's not the scorer the Storm needed. They can't just be nice.
It's not. And
they can't just think about.
I feel like, you know, there are a lot of circumstances surrounding Lexi Brown and her game recently because of the illness that she's been dealing with. And I think you need to put that to the side. At her peak, is she the type of player that this Storm team needs?
No.
I don't think I don't think so. I just don't know that made sense. Moni saying the Storm has too much dead weight on the bench.
Yep.
Sorry to say it, and it's biting us in the butt.
Yeah,
I mean, case in point, when you have 3 of your starters score double digits, and the fact that nobody else could even get to 10. Like,
I
mean, y'all weren't at All-Star, respectfully speaking. Like,
Lexi
come on.
Brown at her peak was scoring 12.4 per game, playing 30 minutes per game. That's not enough. I'm sorry, that's not enough to help the Seattle Storm. And we know that Dominique Malonga has the potential for more, but she's young. I think that this bench situation, Lexi Brown, Alicia Clark, Mackenzie Holmes.
Yeah.
The Storm needs to do something about them. Zaya Cook, keep her there. She's a good. She plays the role of a reserve, and she does it very well.
Yeah,
I think that
that's fair.
Zaya Cook stays there. Now, Lexi Brown, Alicia Clark, and Mackenzie Holmes, I'm sorry. I know that players are people. I know that they watch us and they see what we say, but
it might just not be a good fit.
We're talking about winning in the highest. Like, you need to have the best of the best out there. Look at the New York Liberty's bench. Look at the Minnesota Lynx bench.
The fact that the Liberty might have either Misamin or Fibich coming off of the bench.
I would give up. I would be, take me home. Country home. I would be like, I am not a basketball player anymore. I will be humiliated.
It has to go through yet. I said this on our other podcast, on Black Rosie Media's other podcast, Gotta Get Up, a podcast for New York Liberty fans. If this administration messes with Misamin's visa, we riot. We riot.
Yeah.
And I wish I was joking. I don't know if I am anymore these days.
No, anything but Misamin. See, I do want to say something. There is the absence of Jordan Horston. I think that Jordan Horston could solve a lot of the issues that the Storm bench is having. But you should have prepared for that. You don't think? I think that Jordan Horston is going to be a good response, a good answer.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not as high on Horston. I think I need to see more of it. Yeah. I will say that as you were talking and as we were talking about Dominique Malunga, I feel like a thought that's always been in my head that maybe I've never explicitly said is that maybe I'll phrase it as a question. Has the Seattle Storm done enough to develop Ezi Magbagor? Deep sigh.
Oh my God.
I mean,
I think that Ezi Magbagor, unfortunately, was caught up in the whole mess of the post-Subert thing. I think that they had a plan. They had a plan for her, but their own plan to keep Stewie did not work. So they were scrambling around, and they brought in other players who would get minutes from Ezi. So I feel like, unfortunately for Ezi, she was caught up in the middle of this mess, and she was collateral.
Yeah, I
effect.
agree.
That's
which
what I
is
think happened.
why I think I've always been like, pin them against each other. Like, a matter of factly, it doesn't have to be competition literally is contentious, but they need to iron sharpens iron, and they need to work together to develop together.
Yeah,
and
agree.
if Seattle is not willing to do that, then they're wasting both of those players' time.
I agree. I think that that's my belief that Ezi she ended up suffering the consequences of the initial bad decisions that were made during the Stewie transition. So I think that I feel like the Storms is still recovering from that, and the things that are, I think that even Noelle Quinn was not given a proper chance. Like I said, this is the first time that we're seeing Noelle Quinn coach. She's not a bad coach. She's not.
She's not.
She needs to be more aggressive.
She needs to just, for what this team says they want to do, for the talent that exists in their starting lineup, she has to level up. I mean, it just has to, she either has to lean into, and maybe that's exactly what it is. It almost sometimes feels like Noelle Quinn is still experimenting.
Yes, it
this
feels
team,
like that all the time.
You need to solidify.
Yeah.
You need to solidify this. You don't need to be experimenting.
No, you don't.
Which is also ironic because I keep saying I want to see more Dom, and apparently she's committed to not doing that.
Yeah, but in that sense, I don't see that as experimenting anymore, because we have seen what Dominique Malonga can do.
I mean,
she has shown what her presence only does on both sides of the court, on both ends of the court.
I mean,
that's not experiment. Experimenting is keeping Lexi Brown there for 19 minutes and Dominique Malonga only 12. Like, I'm sorry, but that doesn't make sense. Guys, you can we're talking about a second overall draft pick.
I mean, you don't have to convince me.
Who has been making Nafisa Collier, Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart second-guess their shots. And you're not going to give her more playtime? What? What was the reason?
What was the reason? That's hilarious. But for real, though, Like, I mean, you already know. I feel like y'all know where I stand on that. I've been saying it since jump.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you mean you're not gonna play her? I don't understand why she wasn't starting in preseason. Well, also she wasn't there. Never mind. Not me being like, I don't know why she didn't play. All right, she wasn't there. My bad. Okay, well, not preseason. Well, if she was there for preseason, that would have been your time. Run the rookie.
Yep.
Run the rookie.
It's the same thing she did with Nika last season. Nika didn't play. Like, what is the Washington Mystics doing? Letting their younglings play.
Let them cook.
Let them play. Let them be beat up.
In fairness, coming into the season, most people did not have a lot of expectations for the Washington Mystics. And the Washington Mystics did not say to the world that they are in win now mode.
Fair enough.
So I don't know. Okay, this is going to be an ongoing topic, but I do want to switch gears. We discussed in passing that perhaps some of the agitation that NECA felt was because of the CBA conversations. So let's get into that. I wrote about it for CBS Sports. I did my massive rant on Gotta Get Up with Brian. But Roberta, I'm going to tee you up to talk about the CBA.
I also wrote about it for I've been covering it with Forbes.
Yes, I just want to get to this. The Mystics also don't have Skylar, NECA, Gabby, Ezzy. They got Skylar and NECA and Gabby and Ezzy.
That's a hell of a team, man. That's a hell of a team.
What? Anyway, okay. CBA before I get mad.
Players and the commissioner, they just had very different narratives and very different views of what happened this past Thursday in Indianapolis. Brianna Stewart said that, so what happened on Thursday?
Yes.
The WNBA and about 40 players got together with Kathy Engelbert, Miss Commissioner, and the WNBA for a negotiation meeting for the CBA. That was the intent of the meeting. It was negotiating.
Yes.
There have been reports of players leaving that meeting with their heads down and saying, I need a shot to recover from that.
Well, I mean, putting it in context, they probably are going to do a shot anyway.
It was just another incentive.
I'm just saying. Maybe they were going to do 2 shots.
Yeah.
But either way, shots were going down.
Yeah. So the next day, there were media availabilities with players. Brianna Stewart said that it was a wasted opportunity. It was a lot of fluff. Gabby Williams said that they just threw a bunch of fancy corporate words and thought that players wouldn't understand. Natasha Cloud said that there was a sense that players didn't know what they were dealing with, but they do know. So overall, and that's my interpretation from everything that players are saying, the league was very patronizing to them. Mm-hmm. The league believes, or they're trying to gaslight players to believe that they don't know the business. They keep repeating that. They keep telling players that they don't know how the business works and how things operate. And what players are trying to say is that, bitch, yeah, we do. Ooh, that's what they're trying to say. Nafisa Collier spoke to that. She said, I have my own business. I have my own league. I know how sponsors work. I know how revenue works. Players are complaining that they have no visibility on how much they make, and the league is supposed to turning a revenue report to them. So why are they not having visibility of that? How is there so much unknown? And how has the league messed up so bad that players could sit out until a CBA is achieved? So players left that meeting very frustrated. Gabby Williams actually said, I think what they heard is that we're not to be bamboozled. She used the word, can we say that it's a word? Bamboozled? An expression? Bamboozled? Gabby Williams said that it's clear that the league is trying to push all of the other leagues to decide. And she mentioned Unrivaled Athletes Unlimited.
Yeah. And she talked about it within the context of prioritization, which we know that she has been very against since it was enacted in the last CBA.
Yeah.
I do want to offer, though, that this is something that Sue Bird said that made sense, but was not mentioned while the new CBA was being heralded. She talked about that the higher salaries, the give and take was prioritization.
Yeah.
A lot of what they got in the CBA that currently exists, Sue Bird felt that prioritization is what they had to give up in order to get those games.
And again, that's why I feel like the gaslight enters. It's the league telling the players that they are something so that they can believe that they are that something and give in to what the league wants. When we're talking about the CBA that was signed in 2020, players got a little over 50% raise, 50% something raise. Comparing to what they were doing, 50%, the percentage may be big, but the number still remains low.
And speaking of Lexi Brown, she was one of the players. And at this time that prioritization and the salary raise was being heralded, players like Lexi Brown were saying, this isn't good for the middle of the pack players.
Yes.
Your middle of the pack, especially middle of the pack players that are on veteran contracts.
Yes.
They really didn't see any gains.
Nope.
The bottom got better. The top definitely got better, but the messy middle. And so Athletes Unlimited sprouted because of some of that discontent.
Because of the middle, middle of the pack players.
So I just want to offer that context as well as we're moving forward.
Yeah. So, and I was reading this headline and this story that said that players agreed and signed to the 2020 CBA with their eyes closed. They were just like, this is all we have. This is all we're going to get. That's the best that we've ever gotten.
Well, and also, again, Lexi and other people saying that maybe not everyone was necessarily as in lockstep with that CBA as it was touted to be.
Yes.
I mean, this is all on record. I mean, like.
Yeah,
anyway.
it is like. It seems like. And Terry Jackson said that there wasn't progress. He said that there wasn't progress.
Yeah.
However.
You mean from the meeting on Thursday?
Yeah. However, Kathy Engelbert.
Oh, dear. Well, what
who was
she
dancing Knuckle If You Bucket the night before the meeting.
Wait, say that again?
Knuck it if you bucket. That's
Knuck it if you bucket, folks. Knuck it if you. It's close. I just want to hear.
Knuckle if you buckle.
It's better every time. I like that's gonna be the name of this episode. Knucko if you bucko.
How do you say
Knuck it if you bucket. Just knuck.
Knuck.
If you buck.
Knuck if you buck.
Knuck if you buck. Knucko if you bucko. Knuck it if you bucket.
It's knuck it if you bucket.
Just knuck if you buck.
Knuck if you buck. The commissioner was dancing with the stud buds the night before, going almost all the way to the floor in a party with a sponsor.
Child.
Anyways, and then there was the meeting where she was the head gaslighter in charge.
Knuck it if you bucket. I'm screaming.
Listen,
I had to have you. I was like, wait, can you say that again, please?
The language barrier.
Bucko if you bucko.
Anyways, after fraternizing with the players, the next morning she went there and basically let them think
Oh my god!
I know because of the Dave Portnoy, whatever. I don't
we
want
don't
to talk about that. No,
I actually don't even know,
we
but we
talk
also
about
don't.
Bruno.
No.
So the next Friday before the All-Star game, before the skills stuff. Were you in that press conference?
It was Saturday before the game.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she said that
Progress.
we had a very constructive meeting.
Yes, progress.
And when she was asked if player feedback was different, they said there wasn't progress. They said that it was a wasted opportunity. She said that's what a negotiation is. Again, patronizing, trying to invalidate the feelings of the players. For me, that's what gets me on my nerves. They are talking to adults. We're talking to women
Yes.
with degrees.
Yes.
And the New York Post reported that NECA said that the commissioner said to her face that players don't understand the business. It makes me very mad. It really makes me mad because we're seeing it's patronizing and gaslighting. That's what we're seeing, and we're talking about a league that is for women, for black women, for queer women. And we're talking about a white straight woman in power who is continuously and shamelessly gaslighting those players to not pay them what they're worth.
Okay, well, I do want to stop there because that is the figurehead, and this is not something exclusive to Kathy Engelbert because she is not the first. Well, she is the first commissioner, but she is not the first person to effectively be the mouthpiece of the true puppeteer. And the true puppeteer is effectively the NBA as the 60% owner of the WNBA. And I want to also break it down this way. Now, there are ambiguities at best when it comes to what is being reported to players, or if specifically what the NBA is saying about the WNBA is even accurate. And if you want more on that, I would look to Claudia Golden, who now is a pro bono advisor. Yeah. She is a Nobel Prize winning economist, specifically when it comes to women and labor. And then you have David Barry, who has been doing fantastic work on this.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And what both of them have been saying is that the margins of loss that are being touted and publicly used by bro dudes everywhere to just trash the WNBA are considered in other forms of business not really that big of a deal.
Yeah. They're talking about 40 million loss, right?
Let's just round it to 50. And then I don't know if 50 million includes charters, but let's just assume for the sake of this experiment that it doesn't. Okay? And charters were about 20 million. But you know what? Let's just round it up to 25. So 25 plus 50, if I can do the math correct, that should be 75. So let's say 75 million in the hole, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 75 million in the hole. Let's just also throw out some other numbers. Now a year or two ago, they got $50 million for Golden State expansion fee. Then after that, they got $300 million, 150 each for Portland and Toronto. And now they just it's been reported that they will get $250 million each for the next 3 expansion teams.
Yep.
And
Detroit.
then there's a $75 million capital raise. Now, again, a capital raise will have to be paid back at some point to the investors. So we'll just, but I'm just putting that number out there. And then 2.2 million just in 1 year for the multi-year broadcast deal.
Billion.
Well, no, per year. I didn't.
200 million, yeah.
You're right. It's
2.2 billion for 11 years and then 200 per year.
You're right. Thank you. Either way,
a lot of money.
More than 75 million.
More than 75 million. And we're not talking about merchandise sale, ticket sales, and all of the other TV deals that are also coming. I think it's the one with Ion is around like 60 million or something like that. So
this is when we talk about the numbers. What I continually hear from the players is that they don't have a working understanding of what the loss truly is, what the revenue really looks like, and let's say they do have that surplus of money. I've done some math. It's like 650 million or something crazy like that of a surplus.
Yep.
So, okay, but maybe that is going somewhere because they have increased other
They
things.
have increased operations,
Yes,
there are more
of course.
employees,
there are more staff,
charters
exactly.
and everything.
So, but is it all of that money? And that's what I continue to hear the players asking and their advisors asking. And they keep asking, which makes me think that they're not getting an answer.
And the thing is, like, we're also talking about the players should be seeing more of that money than the parts that are actually receiving it. If you're investing in yours, I'll be honest, all of the salaries to work for like job positions in the NBA, WNBA are public because it's in New York. There's no way they're putting all of that money into workforce. No way.
I mean, but again, follow the money and see where it goes. But apparently they're not being transparent. I've spoken to Elizabeth Williams when I was in Chicago right before All-Star. She said, no, transparency is not where we want it to be. I spoke to Stewie in Indianapolis. No, transparency isn't where we want it to be. Again, Claudia Golden, Nobel laureate economist who is working with the WNBPA, had to come up with her own formula. Because there isn't any concrete reporting. And she's working with the Players Association.
Yeah.
David Berry, same thing. But even by their estimations, whether it's David Berry, whether it's Claudia Golden, what they're both saying is that Claudia did it by fractions. She said what would be equitable based on what we're seeing is about a third or a quarter of what NBA players make. Yeah. What David Berry is saying, which I think the numbers are pretty comparable, is that it should be 1.5 million average salary per player, not 1.5 million as the team salary cap.
Nope.
And we didn't even get into the 9% versus 50% revenue share.
Yeah, and that's the main thing. That's what has been the big issue, because players don't have that transparency and they don't know exactly where the money is going, how much money is being made, what is happening. They can't accurately come up with a revenue share that would be fair for them. So there is a reason why the league is being so shady about it and why there isn't transparency, because if players don't know what they can have, they're not going to ask for it.
Right, and it gives them the advantage. And it's something that I forget who I was talking to now, but this is not exclusive to being done on the women's side. The NBA, when they have their negotiations as well, to the point where LeBron James has said in the past, they're going to tell us they're losing money. We're not fitting to hear that. Don't believe the hype. Another thing that I want to mention is roughly 60%, upwards of 60% of the WNBA completely owned by the MNBA, its owners, etc. Now, if only 9% of the revenue share is coming to WNBA players, do you know that other percent, that roughly over half of that is immediately going to the NBA?
Yeah, exactly.
So this is the same NBA that says they're losing money hand over fist for being charitable to women's basketball, but they're taking money directly out of their pot. Now, here's the thing.
Yeah.
When you own 60% of something, you're you're effectively the owner, right? And so yes, they can do that. But then should they? They're not investing in what they're saying is not only not making any money, but is losing them money. So whose fault is that? How is it that we have a league that is 60% owned by an entity and we're blaming the workers effectively and not the owners for this downfall, this alleged reported downfall? Where they do that at?
Yeah. And who are those who are spreading that message? Because that's also where the big problem is. So there are lots of issues with the ownership structure in the WNBA. There are so many hands that can get you the money, and the players are the ones that get the least of it.
It's wild. I mean, there are so many questions here, and I think we can hold space for, yes, this money may be allocated, but then just say that.
But where?
Where that's what I'm saying. If it's allocated, but that's what I'm saying. I think we're saying the same thing. I'm just trying to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, no, exactly.
If the money is spent, okay, receipts.
Yeah, and also
show me the receipts.
And also, like, let's be fair. The league is where it is because of the players. It's like, yes, there is marketing, but up until recently, the NBA was boycotting the WNBA to put it on TV. The same thing was happening with the NCAA and the women's tournament. The league is where it is because the players have brought good basketball, and because their personality is approachable, and because do you think that everyone who is a LeBron James fan is a basketball fan?
Absolutely
do you think that
not.
everyone who owns a LeBron James jersey, a Steph Curry jersey, has watched their whole season, knows their stats, their advanced stats? No, they are people whose personality, who have become icons, popular, like pop culture icons. So players are becoming pop culture icons because of their personality. People like Asia Wilson because she is such a good, because of who she is. Yes, there is the basketball, but we're also talking about mainstream. And the WNBA is becoming mainstream because of the players, because of what players ask, because of what they do as basketball players, and because of who they are as people. And the league is failing to meet players where they're at.
And so, in some of my reporting, I've been kind of fishing to see if a lockout is imminent and they do not reach an agreement by October 31st, which Terry Carmichael Jackson has said is a hard deadline.
Yes, and Kathy Engelbert said that she's confident that they can meet that deadline.
Well, I guess we'll see, but from what we're hearing from the players, that means that there has to be some...
The league's going to have to do something.
Right.
And the thing is that there are two expansion drafts. There's a two-team expansion draft.
Yep.
There's like, for that expansion draft to happen, there has to be a CBA, because the CBA determines how the expansion draft is gonna go. So October 31st, 2025. And it's looming. It's looming. It's almost here. It's 3 months away. We're about to reach the end of July, so you have August, September, October. The league has known of the player opting out since October last year.
Yes.
This has been 9 months in the making, and it seems like they're not going anywhere. I think there's gonna be a lockout,
which would be historic. Next season is set to be the 30th anniversary of the WNBA. To my knowledge, no women's domestic league in the United States has ever had a lockout. Now, we've seen that with national teams. Mm-hmm. We've seen, I came here to Seattle primarily for a hockey event, and Hillary Knight, a part of some labor disputes with USA Hockey, and they opted not to play in an entire league because they didn't like it, but not necessarily the same as a full-on lockout. So this could be transformational, and that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
That being said, what I was going to say is that, I've been digging into some of my reporting to see if the WNBPA, who actually already has a formal partnership with Unrivaled through merchandising. And so the WNBPA has shared their merchandising with Unrivaled. But anyway, could it be if there is a lockout and the players don't have a guaranteed situation come May, will we see Athletes Unlimited or even Unrivaled either expand their rosters so that more players could make money in the off season? Will they expand their season so that the players that they do have in their pool, I mean, is that even in the capacity for those leagues to do? I don't know. Are we going to see players then go back overseas? What does that do to the overseas market? I mean, if there's a lockout, it doesn't mean there won't be women's basketball, I guess is my point.
No, there is going to be women's basketball, and I think that's where the league should really be focused on meeting the players' agenda, because the players are at an advantage now. They have more options.
Yes, they do. And I think this comment, I've been keeping finger on the pulse on this for a very long time. In the comments, we're seeing, Moni and Paparazzi go back and forth on NBA ownership, but the scales have tipped since Kathy Engelbert took over, and we are seeing more NBA teams get back into the fold because they were there to begin with. That's how the whole league started, and now they're coming back. But what does that mean? It goes back to that number ticking up from 60%. And if you're an NBA owner, you are Adam Silver's boss.
That's true.
So now you have more of that ownership. You can't speak for all of the owners, and we don't know. I mean, we've seen ownership in the WNBA. Some who are NBA owners as well, some who aren't, disagree and not be aligned even with charters. Some teams, specifically, I can speak from my reporting, Atlanta and New York were very staunch advocates for the charter program prior to Kathy Engelbert deciding that she's just going to do it and not ratifying it through the CBA, which is very suspect. Anyway, they were advocates, and they said, we can find the money. This is what it would cost. The league said no to that proposal. The league also went on record saying that they didn't get a proposal. So I'm just reporting what was said. But not all of the owners, whether they are NBA owners or not, WNBA owners didn't agree. And some felt that charters was an entitlement.
Yeah, and we have to mention that Seattle Storm ownership was one of those. They were very anti-charter, and what is their why? They are afraid that non-NBA owned teams are going to fold because of the expenses. So it's a two-sided blade. Forgot how to say the proper expression, because.
Double-edged sword.
Double-edged sword. Double-edged
I mean,
sword.
it's the same thing. Yeah. I like that. Two-sided blade.
It's a double-edged sword. Because, yes, you have independent ownership teams like the Seattle Storm, which now has so many owners. And today you saw the football player.
Their first man, right?
No, there have been other men. No, there was a whole, they raised capital, and there's like a bunch of other
I was like,
owners.
a man?
No, they raised, I think, 30s, half of the practice facility.
I forgot. Oh, right.
Yeah.
I definitely forgot all about that.
Half was was the new owners, and half was BCU from what they announced. So there is that concern, like, why did Breanna Stewart go to New York? Because New York has the structure, has the money for charter flight. They were supporting that. So yes, there is the double-edged sword of, like, you have Cleveland that's gonna have Cavalier money. Like, do you really, and then you have the Wings and the Sky, which are rough. Like, if you're gonna have if you want to be an independent owner in the league, this is not this is also not your charity. This is also not your tax, that's not your tax cut. You have to put in real money, in everything, not only practice facility, not only like player experience. You have to put real money in everything, and you have to be on the player side. Why have Las Vegas and New York been so successful? Because their owners are their biggest advocates in everything.
Right. And will the scales tip, though?
That's the double edge. That's the double edge.
I think that's what's happening. I think that's what's happening here. And then they won't be the innovators or and the people that are the disruptors because you have more NBA owners with maybe NBA money. Who knows? Because we've seen that play out in the WNBA before. I mean, and what happens when these NBA owners get tired or they, the whole Houston situation was very, and again, David Barry breaks this down. But my understanding of the situation is that Houston, Detroit, I mean, Cheryl Reeve talks about it. I don't know about that. But what I want to say about Detroit and Houston is that the reports were that the losses were actually coming on the NBA side. And if there were losses on the W side, they were insignificant comparative to the losses coming on the NBA side. But the inconvenient lie, or the convenient lie, excuse me, was to make the issue for that ownership group women's basketball instead of the millions over millions of dollars that were actually being leaked on the men's basketball side. So that's why I was like, I don't know if that's the situation with LA, but I know for sure that people like Charlotte Reeve have gone on the record. There have been articles about the Houston situation when it comes to that. Listen, that alone is something that we're going to have to keep an eye on, particularly as we get closer to the CBA deadline. But I do want to know, but also I don't support the backlist outlet. I don't mention them. No, I don't do that.
The bar seat?
The backlist chair.
Yeah,
the backlist chair.
No,
I don't mess with that. I don't even know what's happening, and I don't know that I care.
Courtney Williams said that the stud buds would sit down with whoever, and they would confront him about the things he said about Angel Reese.
That's like NABJ inviting the now sitting president to speak. It's a waste of time. That man doesn't care about you. He's going to hijack the conversation. And I'm just going to use what Courtney Williams actually said on the stream at the CBS Sports HQ booth. If you're for the community, Courtney, do not do that. Do not do. I'm so serious. I'm not even joking. Do not do that. That is a waste of your time. You're putting yourself and the community in a very bad way.
Yeah, and they need better guidance. I feel like, it's all fun and games. But then you start to have those big, that big visibility, and you see, perhaps, I'm not saying that there's money involved, but such like a huge sum, like life-changing type of money. So I think that they need more guidance. I don't think that they are ill-intended. I don't even think that they know everything that that the backlist chair has promoted. They need better guidance for sure. Believe it.
Don't do it. It's not worth it. I promise you, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
No, he's gonna try to get it.
Be for the community.
Yeah.
When we played start bench cut, you cut Fee because she's straight. Explain to me how you're gonna engage with that man.
That was you making the interview?
I was not. No,
because I watched that.
That was Tarika. I think Tarika did that interview, but I was there because it was our booth. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Like,
I don't know. I have a feeling that they're not gonna do it. I feel like
Moni says she don't care. They're gonna do it anyway, unfortunately. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. But like, I'm done. I'm not even in their community, and I'm out. I'm out. I don't identify. I hope to be in good allyship. And
You are.
if y'all, thank you.
You are a good ally.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you. I
yeah.
appreciate that. Thank you so
course.
much. Feel validated, but it's not about my straight feelings. Anyway, it's not about the straights. Clearly, Courtney Williams made
I
that
mean,
clear.
fee got cut, so
I mean, fee got cut. If fee got cut, do not let that man in your house. Do not do this. Like, see, this is why y'all can't be breaking news to me on a podcast. We're supposed to wrap up, and now I'm getting all mad about this man. Do not do that. Like,
that's
I don't
like
know.
the whole tres leches again.
This is what happens.
You
we're
had
never
to be there.
We're never doing a show where we're on the same camera because now I can't
'Cause she
take her
can't
off
cut
the
me
screen. I can cut your mic off. Bow.
Because I can't speak.
No. This is my microphone now. This is my microphone now. Unbelievable. I just don't understand. I don't understand. But I mean, do you, boo? But F around and find out.
Foot around. Foot around to find out.
She has a podcast.
Yeah,
Hopefully
she has a
not
podcast.
problematic on the women's
God.
I Heart Women's Sports.
The last thing I need is for Easy Fud to be problematic. That would
Don't
be so sad.
I feel like if you getting down with Paige, like Paige knows what she about.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess everyone gets caught out there. I mean, not everyone. I'm just saying. I mean, listen,
I can go on all of the couples that were. I
ain't never been pressed. I'm not talking about nobody else but me. I ain't never been pressed. I don't know what y'all do in these streets, but now we're going off the rails. Anyway, that's not the point. It's not about me. It's about. Let's go back to talk about the community, aka not me. Anyway, I feel like this is a very awkward way to end the show, but let's do it.
Yeah, but anyways, I'm happy that you got to go to the All-Star game. I was gonna go, but life happens, so I had to
Life
cancel it,
happens.
but
Life be life.
Next year,
did I unmute you for real? Okay, I was just making sure.
So next year, hopefully, I'm gonna get to be there. I am hoping that someday the All-Star game comes back to Seattle. That would be very fun. Yep.
Damn.
Jesus Christ.
Damn,
I
homie.
also let me just say something about. I feel like people also like to say a lot of stuff, and they come at players very aggressively. I
That's
think
fair.
so, and I feel like players don't have to deal with all
That's
of the
true.
that people say.
That's true.
I think that some people do think that they have a higher, ground. They think they have like a higher, just because put yourself in that. What I tell is like 70% of you would do the same thing. The difference is
Probably.
that
But nobody would know.
you're not.
Nobody
you're
would
not
know.
there. So,
Well, I'm definitely in that 30% because.
yeah. No,
Listen,
I would
but
never.
that's also why I'm broke, so I don't know. I chose morals a long time ago, and look at
Yeah.
what it got me. I mean, I don't know. Who's to say?
Hey,
I just live in the wrong country, in the wrong time, in the wrong, universe.
I just sold
I
my
don't know.
soul to America corporate.
I mean,
that's
like-
so I can do my basketball. for-
Yeah, I can't even Robin Hood this ish, man. Like I just am
Jesus.
so not interested. I'm not interested. So yeah, like and subscribe because we don't take that foolish money.
No.
We don't take any money. This is
Is there
a
a
public
thing there?
broadcast
Ka-ching.
radio. Yeah, right. Listen, this is a labor of love because if it's a labor of
It
love,
is a
it
labor
don't
of
have to
love.
be a labor of corporate fools trying
Yep.
to tell me to have this backless fool in my ish.
Listen,
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
That's why I even left a WNBA team. Well, I left the WNBA team because I want to say whatever I want to say.
Yeah.
And even when you're in a good team, there are things that you cannot talk about. And that's
Yeah.
all I'm going
I
to say.
mean,
I feel
it
like
is.
independent and,
Come on.
yeah.
It's crazy. Tulip, we absolutely did not answer that draft question because I don't even know who's in the draft. We're not
what is
even.
the
We just
question?
got to the halfway part of the season.
No.
I
Don't
ain't
even
got
know
it.
if there's going to be a draft
Girl.
because of the CBA.
Right?
So
We gotta figure out. We
there
gotta.
might not
yeah.
even be a draft for who knows how
Listen,
long.
yeah, we gonna have to come back to
Clock's
that.
ticking.
We're gonna have to come back to that. I don't even know. All I
clock
know
is
is
ticking.
who Unrivaled has on their lineup. Unrivaled is doing some crazy things.
They are.
in a good way.
The prize now is like $100K per player of the winning team.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I mean, they do have some corporate sponsors that have
Yeah.
heavily donated to the current administration.
Yeah.
Just got to put that out there.
Yeah.
So like the whole arena is named after one of those. If you know, you know. So yeah. So again,
Rough.
not all money is good money. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Not all money is good money. Anyway, yes, like the lineup is crazy. Or is that what you're talking about as far as the draft? I don't know. Like, listen, the Seattle Storm have to figure out their life before I can
They
even.
do. They
like,
have to figure.
Honestly, here's my answer. Actually, right now, at this moment, on July 23rd, here's my answer, Tulip. It doesn't matter who they take at the draft because they can't figure out how to make their roster work.
Yep. Exactly. They got one. They got a generational player, and they are not playing that player. So the last year they got Nika Mule. They didn't play Nika Mule. So does it
Yep.
even matter who they're
Doesn't
gonna get in the
matter.
draft?
It would appear not. And again, we did talk a little bit about coaching, but I've also raised questions about front office and GM stuff because some of this you have to put on the GM.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we'll get into all of that. And yeah, I don't even know honestly where their picks are.
They have first round picks.
Yeah, but where we won't know until the end of the season.
Yeah.
So anyway, y'all, this has been a live taping. Apparently, we did this exactly a year ago.
September 23rd.
Oh, September.
23rd. Yeah.
Oh,
so
the 23rd is apparently the
It's the day,
23rd
yeah.
is a good date for us. But we're
Yeah.
gonna have to do this again. Thank you so much for joining us.
Dubs in the chat.
Dubs in the chat. Oh my gosh. For the community, I thought you said for the community. I don't know. See, now y'all got me all upset. Anyway, we do really try to be for the community. Thank y'all for joining us
Thank
so
you,
much.
everyone.
We will be back next week.
Thank you, Jen.
And Tulip, come back because we will talk about the
Yeah.
draft. I will be honest, not prepared to talk about it right now. And you do make a good point. So
Yeah.
we'll do some recon there and we'll get back to it. I don't know if it's going to be the next episode because we might have to go off if Seattle can't get some wins against what should be a light schedule. Yeah. We might have to go on another rant, but we will definitely come back to that. We appreciate y'all. Thank you so much, dudes and dudettes. Manuel, good to see you. Thanks, Tulip. Thank you, Paparazzi Moni. We know you're always up in here. Thank y'all so much, and we will catch you. We'll catch you again
Thank you,
soon.
everyone. Thank you.
Peace out, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.